Special, and here I am with my musical experts, Mick Jones, Roger Daltrey, Bill Bruford,
hello, Peter,
and John Taylor. Bill, you're up.
I am.
I want to talk about the art rock movement.
Oh my God!
You know, I figure you know something about that, being like in one of those bands.
What would you like to know?
Well, tell us all about it. Everything you know.
It's not my fault. Not not guilty.
You were in you were in King Crimson, and you were in Yes.
Yeah, the thing, and suddenly I was playing in the group I was in. The guys weren't all from the same town. They were from different parts of England, with wildly different backgrounds. I mean, in Yes, when we started, we had, you know, a milkman from Accrington.
Who's that?
John Anderson.
Is he a milkman?
Well, he was.
Was he? All right.
And you know, an Royal Academy trained musician, Rick Wakeman, who could, you know, do all the business on the black and white notes. Some influences in Yes was Simon and Garfunkel, you know, just done Bridge Over Troubled Water, and legend had it, as we checked into our Vision Studios, that had taken 3 months to make. And therefore we were determined, of course, at all costs, that the record we were making should take a little longer than that, right. You know, 3.5 months at least, you know. So we started to spend money like crazy, and the records would take a long time to make, and they were edited like crazy all over the place. Whereas probably you could play your tunes all the way through from beginning to end, sort of. And it lasted 3 or 4 minutes, and that was the end of it, which is great. Whereas ours were whole sides of LPs.
Yeah.
Getting all these influences, and then it turned into what some people now call art rock, you know, which is all probably a ghastly mistake. But it kept the musicians amused.
Well, they even had American bands like Styx and Kansas. What do you think of those bands?
So there's kind of the second generation, not the right business at all. No, sorry, it's over here.
Is it?
Yeah, it's something to do, peculiarly British thing again. You know,
because Genesis is still into that. You know,
very British, yeah.
Those, yeah.
Very British. Well, Genesis are more mainstream now, but yes, they had fiddly bits. They used to have fiddly bits in Genesis.
Yeah. There was no emphasis on images in all those bands, right? When you think Genesis and all that, they just were.
Well, I don't know. I think
Genesis were incredibly.
Peter Gabriel did a lot of that.
Right.
Peter Gabriel was way.
Like when we all toured first in America. It's like we didn't need any, we just needed our equipment,
well,
right?
Basically, it just gone from being street music and having street cred into being a kind of almost like a showbiz thing.
Right.
That's right. That the Sunday Times suddenly started writing about and was suddenly taken as serious, quote, unquote, you know, art.
There'll be some anarchy in the UK when My Generation Sounds of London special continues from England with a look at punk rock.
I mean, I went to art school. I was just not like a middle class, but a working class, and because I went to art school because I wanted to join a band, and I'd seen all these, all the bands that I admired and influenced me, and all seemed to have gone to art school, like a lot of members had. And I thought
like who?
Well, Ray Davies,
right?
I think Pete Townsend went.
Even the Beatles, yeah.
Keith Richards, the Beatles, and so I wanted to go to art school to join a band, really. That was the truth, you know, and I thought the first day I went there, I went to the toilets where it was all happening, you know, I thought I'd find like loads of guys playing guitars and that.
Peter Noone back with your My Generation Sounds of London special. We return to our conversation with Roger Daltrey, Mick Jones, Bill Bruford and John Taylor.
Yeah. So what happened then, like after all that sort of artsy stuff, then it was your guy, then it was like punk rock, which was again the opposite, right? It was a complete dichotomy.
That came in next, yeah. If we're, thank God, doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
and
was a breath of fresh air.
It sort of went back to
working class.
Yeah, I suppose.
It was like,
it sort of
started back in kids were there, yeah.
I'm a punk.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other ones, what was around at the time, which was from before, was Teddy Boys came around just at the start of punk. We had like a revival of Teddy Boys for a short amount of time, and they fought against each other, and then I guess the Teddy Boys got wiped out.
Connect punks and Teddy Boys, because punks was it anarchy, or was it just another musical bounce around?
Well, no, some groups were not really into, you know, were just into the anarchical side of it, yeah, and then other groups were sort of like the Clash. They realised that we'd have to do something musically.
Right.
You know, after our first LP, or else we'd stay like the same, you know.
Right.
Like, and that we had to move and not allow ourselves to be painted into a corner musically. You know?
That's what's great about bands like the Pistols and the Clash. They were something, I think,
something different,
incredibly different.
Yeah, right.
And I think the punk movement was incredibly important to the music scene of the 70s.
Very good, yeah.
Without it, I think the 70s would have been an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it kicked everybody up the arse, didn't it? Every band suddenly went, wait a second.
Everybody had to suddenly turn around and thought, what are we doing? Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, we had Who Are You? You know?
No, but it needed it then. Otherwise, it was getting a bit like, If You Think I'm Sexy. There was those records. Well, I mean, we get more reaction from that one ever, because a lot of kids in America missed it. You know, now if you're 20 in America, You missed it.
Yeah,
now they're finding that now they're getting access to it and they love it.
I see rap music as the American equivalent of punk. That they didn't get punk, they got new wave over there, which wasn't really what it was about. A lot of the problems was the media got hold of the whole thing,
right,
and they turned it into, you know, as they do. You know, punk really only lasted for 100 days.
Yeah,
and then after
minutes,
that, you know, then it was Sandra Rhodes with ripped dresses and people sticking safety pins through their noses and gobbing on each other. It was all the wrong. They took all the wrong bits out, and the media put them under a microscope.
So just as the punk rock movement seems to have been a backlash against the 70s sort of disco superstars, the new romantic movement was next. Was that a backlash against that?
Well, I mean, it was through bands like Mick's that I actually realised that I could actually play, you know, and me and friends could actually get together and make a noise. But I kind of grown up on Roxy music and David Bowie and this kind of glam stuff, and I kind of, although that was still kind of serious music, it was music you needed to train for, you needed to practice, and punk was very easy, very accessible. You could get into it, but at the same time, kind of like towards as punk started to lose its initial kind of inertia, and like bands like Sham 69 came along, and there was a lot of violence. It just became a little too violent. For me, I then kind of discovered American funk. We started rehearsing along these lines, and we used to rehearse in this squat, and there was this band down below called the Subterranean Hawks. So you know where they're coming from. They were very purist. They were still in the New York Dolls, Keith Richards mode, you know. And every day we'd come to work and there'd be "disco sucks," you know, in blood red letters on the door,
dripping slightly.
But yeah, I mean, and the clothes, ditto what you said about the mod thing, the new romantic thing. I remember reading about Spandau Ballet in London, and the headline was New Romantics, something, and we were like, hey, this is, you know, somebody else is thinking along similar lines. You know, why are they in the magazines and we're not? Well, they were in London and we were in Birmingham, and they were wearing clothes which gave them a look, which made it.
What is the sound of London today? The answer to this question will be revealed when My Generation continues.
I wonder how how rock and roll kind of translates into the English language as well, and that's you know how you got around the what do we call it, like the idiom or whatever, of taking something that Elvis sang with an American accent and how you've got to put across with an English accent. And rap, definitely, it's like when it's sung with like a Cockney accent or a Mancunian accent, it just doesn't have that same bite to it.
Noone, back with you on My Generation Sounds of London special. We continue our conversation with our esteemed panel of musical experts, Roger Daltrey, Mick Jones, Bill Bruford and John Taylor.
So rap music, that's the next one. Rap music was like, I don't know what happened between like punk and rap. Maybe I missed those years.
Well, we had like little things, didn't there? It was like power pop for...
Yeah,
and that was little kind of things.
I mean, you've been talking about all these different periods. You do forget the downside. In between the major events, there's always a period in music that is yawn time,
which causes people to get reactive.
You've got the Bobby V part of the, you know, the 50s and the early 60s before the Beatles.
The troughs.
Yeah, the troughs. We talked about high points.
I remember them. Was that the one that made that tape?
It means the trogs, right? The trogs, that was a down point. But what do you think about rap, Roger?
I mean, I think it's an incredibly important event for that part of society. But I don't know whether it should be classed as music. That's the only thing that confuses me.
Are there any London rap bands?
I don't really know. It's KLF. I think the English bands that kind of play rap, like KLF, do make it more musical. But that's the only thing that confuses me with it. I just don't know whether it should be even. They should even bother to try and call it music.
I don't think they do.
It's a wordy thing.
And I don't think that's where its importance is.
It's a word thing though, and it's not really the KLF, because that's like a beat thing, and actually it's about you were talking about encapsulating this anger and frustration,
right.
putting it into short
That's
bursts of words, put to very prime.
And in the 90s,
I think that from the rap thing and the hip hop thing, then the dance thing developed. You know what I mean? And in '88, what we had over here was the rave scene that started, and acid house and these things. no, once again, you know what I mean? It's probably an American thing's going to be something different.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
So technology has let everybody be a musician and a producer, of course, you know.
Which is like, just like punk too, because anybody can do it.
Everybody can do it, you know. So everybody, right now as we speak, there's a million guys all in some studio, somebody with a sampler and
in their bedrooms.
In their bedrooms. Yeah, making a record.
Summers ago, Mick was playing in Paris, and I went to see him. It was like the week of The Power, you know. There was that record, The Power, by Snap, you know. And originally the record had been like this white label thing by Chill Rob G. It was this New York record, and I mean we were so excited by it. He was playing it in between every song, and it was this record that had like 3 words to it. It had like this bass line that went all the way through it. I mean, it went beyond your normal kind of conception of what a record should be or what.
Right.
And it's just an incredibly exciting piece of music that just like everybody's all over the world is kind of going, oh yeah, I love that, you know. And it causes a current of change, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the records that influenced us are definitely the ones that get us started. I think the first record I liked was All Shook Up. I know Pete's first wanted to be in a band so he could meet Connie Francis. That was why he joined the band. He told me
lipstick on your collar.
He heard Connie Francis and how can I meet her? I'll get a guitar and I'll be able to meet her. What was your first record?
Mine was...
the one that really got you like, wow, I want to do that.
It was Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Hound Dog with Scotty Moore playing the guitar solo. I thought that was fantastic. That was about 10 or something. That did me in for good.
Me and Roger were about 18 then, weren't we? About that time? How about you, John? What was your first record that said, I want to do that?
Or the Beatles, definitely. Just we're seeing the Beatles on the news, like, you know, all these scenes of hysteria. And songs like All My Love and It Can't Buy Me Love and stuff like that.
Mick, how about you?
I think my most important ones are the first ones I bought with my own money, you know. It was like, and also it was Hendrix and Disraeli Gears, Smash Hits and Disraeli Gears. The first one was like 33 shillings.
Tell me, was it?
Yeah.